Hi, everyone. I have Michigan Sue on, and Michigan Sue is a fantastic researcher, and she's got a lot of important information legally and so on and so forth that she's researched that she wants to talk to us about. And so please explain that to us, Michigan Sue.
Hi, Gary, and again, thanks for all you do, and thanks for all the listeners for listening in and staying up on this kind of information. I wanted to point out two things. One, quickly about Wells Fargo, that although their CEO, a guy by the name of Stump, has resigned, their general counsel, that's the head legal officer of Wells Fargo, who had planned to retire at the end of the year, is staying on to deal with the fallout from the bank sales scandal that we've all heard about in the news. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but I thought that everyone should be aware of that. Secondly, I did look up Public Law 105-85, mentioned by Kent Dunn. It is called the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 1998, and it was signed into law on November 18, 1997. I do not know if this law has been amended, but as it stands in its original form, I wanted to point out that Section 1078 of this law is entitled, and by the way, it's a 450-page law. So I went to the particular section regarding the restrictions on the use of human subjects for testing of chemical or biological agents. That's section, again, 1078 of this law. And the prohibited activities include any test or experiment involving the use of a chemical agent or biological agent on a civilian population, or any other testing of a chemical agent or biological agent on human subjects. So this law actually prohibits the use of chemical or biological agents. However, there are a few exceptions to this law. There are three exceptions. That this prohibition does not apply to a test or experiment carried out for any of the following three reasons. One, any peaceful purpose that is related to a medical, therapeutic, pharmaceutical, agricultural, industrial, or research activity. Two, any purpose that is directly related to protection against toxic chemicals or biological weapons and agents. And three, any law enforcement purpose, including any purpose related to riot control. Now, as we all know, we are all being chemtrailed. It's not just in the state that Kent Dunn gave the phone number to the Air National Guard. This is happening all over. And the only exception that I can even imagine the powers to be invoking is the third one, any law enforcement purpose, including any purpose related to riot control. So it's a controlling mechanism. Now, this law also requires informed consent, which obviously we were never asked for. Prior notice must be given to Congress of such activity, and a report has to be made to Congress justifying in detail the nature and purposes of the testing and the need for the testing. So I would encourage people to call their congressional reps and ask, by what justification is chemtrailing occurring, as required by Public Law 105-85, Section 1078. So there's the detail on that particular law. Following up on the chemtrail issue, your listeners may or may not be aware of a lawsuit, the first of its kind that I'm aware of in the country. It was actually filed by Dane Wigington in California. It is being stalled through the legal system right now. I don't know its exact status, but I wanted to read some of the particulars in the complaint, or in the, it's actually the notice of intent to file suit. That is on Dane Wigington's website called Geoengineering Watch. Those are 3 words, but there's no spacing in between. Geo, G-E-O, engineering, E-N-G-I-N-E-E-R-I-N-E, watch, W-A-T-C-H.org. You can actually download this document and read it for yourself. However, there were particular there's particular language in here I wanted to share with your listeners. What's in these chemtrails? Well, here's some of it. Coal fly ash. This is coal ash that companies can't otherwise get rid of because it's a toxic material. So they're putting it in the chemtrails. Coal fly ash contains a variety of heavy metals and other toxic elements, including aluminum, arsenic, barium, beryllium, boron, cadmium, chromium-3, chromium-4, cobalt, lead, manganese, mercury, selenium, strontium, thallium, thorium, and uranium. There's a lot of carcinogens in that list. He goes on to relay further evidence in his document. Snow samples from Mount Shasta are contaminated with aluminum. Pure white snow at 8,000-foot elevation on Mount Shasta at 61,100 parts per billion of aluminum. That's over 4 times more than the mud beneath the snow, and tens of thousands of times the expected maximum level in a snow sample. The samples also contained 83 parts per billion of barium and 383 parts per billion of strontium. The only route these heavy metals to enter the precipitation is from aerosolized clouds. A rainwater test conducted in 2013 on Mount Shasta contained 13,100 parts per billion of aluminum, 130 parts per billion of barium, and 138 parts per billion of strontium. These amounts are undrinkable by state standards at 13 limit. Other evidence he has collected includes the Delta smelt, a small fish on the federal endangered species list, found primarily at the mouth of the Sacramento River, has been found to have alarmingly elevated aluminum levels in its gills and tissue. This aluminum does not exist in the natural environment in free form. Instead, it is falling into our lakes, rivers, and streams from these programs. Aquatic and terrestrial insect decline is noted in parts of Northern California, of as much as 90% in the last decade. The highly toxic heavy metal contamination that is cascading down from the air column must logically be considered a primary factor in this insect population crash. As to trees, and I'm skipping around in this, I'm just reading the tip of the iceberg of this document. The trees throughout California, including in Shasta, Placer, Siquillo, and Santa Cruz counties, are dying from dehydration and from toxic soil containing unnatural levels of aluminum, barium, and other contaminants. The toxic chemicals are falling on the trees and into the soil around them. The toxins are being absorbed into the trees from above ground and in through the root system. Bioavailable aluminum is very harmful to most plant life, and its destructive impacts are well documented. To protect themselves, the trees shut down nutrient uptake in an attempt to keep the toxins out. This results in starvation and slow death, as well as mold and insect infestations. tree die-off is happening in relatively pristine environments, even on riparian shoreline where water is plentiful. Okay, now I'm to the last pages of this about, 32-page document. Proposed defendants deny and conceal the programs. The violator's first line of defense is to deny the existence of the programs. They attempt to portray those who know the programs exist as conspiracy theorists. The EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, the primary agency authorized and obligated to enforce the federal environmental laws, states on its website the programs do not exist. The EPA website also hyperlinks to the United States Air Force's denial of the programs. The EPA simply accepts the United States Air Force denial. The delinquent regulators have also concealed widespread contamination of California's drinking water. Redding, R-E-D-D-I-N-G, Public Works, has possession, control, and custody of documents that show massive spikes in aluminum in the Sacramento River, a major source of drinking water in California. The city of Redding is actively concealing such evidence. And finally, in a section called Contaminants Are Affecting Human Health, aluminum contamination is a major source of disease in human beings. There are unprecedented levels of aluminum in human blood. The free-floating nanoparticles of aluminum in our water supply, air, and food are contributing to such diseases. In Redding, California, a neurologist has seen a disturbing spike in neurological disorders. Sufficient evidence correlates aluminum contamination with neurological, lung, and bone diseases, particularly as autism and asthma in children and as Alzheimer's disease in adults. Autism levels are projected to jump to 1 in every 2 individuals by 2025. Toxic nanoparticles are in the air. Such small particles are extremely damaging to the respiratory and neurological systems. It cannot be filtered out with any readily available filtration mechanism. Nanoparticles are so small that they penetrate straight through the lung lining and go straight into the bloodstream. There, they can adhere to cell receptors like plaque, slowly but surely damaging health in such bodily functions as the immune system. So those are bits and pieces of this document. I would encourage your people to go on Wigington's website, geoengineeringwatch.org. Click under the legal button, and they will find this document that they can download in PDF form. That's it.
Well, this is definitely a depopulation program. It looks to me like it, and they've probably killed millions and millions of people already in there. And we need to some way get this exposed and get it stopped. But it's to me like they're completely destroying California. And what was in the Mount Shasta is probably all through the Rocky Mountains, and all the Rocky Mountain states is the same type of chemicals, and even strychnine and all these different poisonous things that are very evident that is not meant for good.
Well, it's pervasive. It's global. I think every human being on the planet is probably a victim of this. It has to stop, and that's why I wanted to share the details of Dane Wigington's extensive research. Now, there are many reports that ETs are certainly helping to dissipate these chemtrails, but they can't do it all. That there is residue, and that residue is showing up in the kind of evidence that Dane Wigington is sharing with everybody who cares to see.
Boy, this is what you've pointed out. It lets us know just how serious this is and how bad it's really getting. And
yeah, I would have to agree, Gary. It's not good stuff. I don't know what else to do about it other than to share information, create awareness, prayer and meditation.
right, mm-hmm.
Supporting people like Dane Wigington.
Right.
Because this has to stop, and our federal government is a big part of this.
Right. Now, it appears that there's all kinds of positive signs happening for all kinds of things changing, and so let's just keep praying that this is taken care of. And Lord, right now we just come to you in the name of Jesus, and Lord, it's been exposed here through Michigan Sioux just how bad that they're trying to kill your people, and so we say it's time for you to step up and perform your word. You said that we could demand and command you to perform your word. And they're slaying the wicked. They're trying to kill us, and we say that you say that we could slay the wicked with the breath of our lips. That's in about the branch. You said we're branches. That's in Isaiah the 11th chapter, verse 4. And so, Lord, we say that let's eliminate these people that are trying to kill us. It's time to put a stop to it. And we are coming in unity of people all over the world right now. And Lord, we say, get it done. It's according to your word. And we say that in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Sue. And I wanted to thank you so much for sharing that. And you're always welcome to share anything that's important like that, because we all need to know it.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I wanted to get this one out. Thank you, Gary, again for all you do.
And thank you so much, Sue.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.